Yo, it is June 16, 2024. To those good fathers out there, happy Father's Day, which I didn't even know about until this morning when it was mentioned by the subscriber here. Hope you're all doing well. Yay! We can do it. We can do it. We can do it. We can get through this life one day at a time, maintaining our sanity. Right? We're going to do it. Andrew Cruz, B. Dub, Christy Hazelwood, Alicia DeMoss, and D. Moore, hello. Analog Synth Player, hello. And Wise Awake, BMCC, Rage Against the Machine, Donna Davidson, Rudder, Enfa, Rudder Enfa, James B. and Julie, hello. Very few here. Oracle 11, hi. So, yeah, I got news. There's not ever a day where we have a slow news day anymore. Amelia, hello. Yeah, those days are gone. What does that mean? It means all of the agendas are really speeding up. Acceleration. Pedal to the metal. Mixed Silent Green, hello. True Blood, hello. Trace, hello. It's sad. Sad. And you know what? Boring. It's boring. Because nothing ever changes. And when everything just is shit, and it's just, maybe the details are a little bit different, and the place is a little bit different, and the names are a little bit different. It's the same shit every day. It gets boring. You want to see some good coming about, gaining traction. More and more people are doing the good. That's what I want to see, but I have no one to see. So, Miss Blanche, hello. SCDHL, hello. Yes, I remember those days. SCDHL, I remember those days. And even those days, they were hard to live. Nothing like what we're living now. Crew. Doer just talking. Well, I would, but it's gotten to the point where I'm tired of getting kicked, sucker punched by subscribers. Not all, obviously, but yeah, I've gotten to the point where I'm scared. I'm scared of those in the cyber world. Not that I'm sitting in the corner and drooling and shaking, and no. You just get to a point where something's very wrong, and when you get attacked over and over and over again, you begin to shut up. You're socially engineered by ordinary people. I don't like that. If I had support in my real life, things would be a lot different. But I don't. So, to take it always and not have any outlet in the real world, that gets it gets very hard, gets very taxing. So, yes, I miss the good old days. The good old days. Yeah, I really miss YouTube before Google took over it. Man, this platform sucks though. And frankly, I trying to get people off YouTube is very challenging. And I see a lot of people who dumped YouTube and went to other platforms and they're back. Because people never leave YouTube. It's. Now, I'm not talking about everyone, okay? So if you left YouTube, good! But, no, the majority. And still, maybe Rumble is beginning to be known by a lot more. I don't know. Odyssey, I don't think is known, so it's, you're still wanting to reach those who you haven't reached, and YouTube is the place that people go. Unfortunately, it's it's just become this commercial bullshit platform. Not that there aren't very good channels, that's not what I'm saying. But wow, remember the days when we could do actual research on YouTube? Remember that? Not anymore. Not anymore. So let's look at Radar. Oh, YouTube is not receiving enough video to maintain smooth streaming. Of course. Of course. I am, look, here, right on the East Coast, I mean the West Coast of Florida, right into the Panhandle. Wow, you got a lot of activating nanobots, right, in a row. Isn't it amazing? And they're still coming in, well, they're activating in Florida, but still kind of moving in a westerly direction. And look at this. All of these nanobots activated as supercells are extinguished. They're extinguishing them. That's good, right? Yeah, maybe a hurricane is coming. They don't want that much destruction on a daily basis. They're going to bring it in for a hurricane. Here we've got in Tennessee. Oh, be careful in Tennessee. And what is this? Oh, wow. What is this? Look at this. It looks like there's a hurricane coming in, right? And it literally just ends up, the eye of the hurricane is a triangle. The eye of the hurricane is a triangle. Look at this. Okay, yeah. Okay, yep, that's definitely Mother Nature. Not at all. How weird. Well, Illinois, you do have some supercell action that does get extinguished, but wow, how are the winds up here in Chicagoland? That doesn't look good. So for mid-June, we apparently are having extreme heat and snow. Fortunately, I'll do no tornado warnings. Very good. There are some, let me refresh. You got more severe weather warnings down here in Florida, the Panhandle, Georgia, Florida. right here, pretty much the coast of Louisiana. You got one in Texas, right here at the border, Kansas, Nebraska, and up here in, Chicagoland and Illinois. Well, let's read all about it. Not all about it, but severe weather, severe thunderstorms. Hillsborough, Pinellas, Florida. Brewster, Texas. Hitchcock, Red Willow, Nebraska. Jefferson, Madison, Brooks, Thomas, Florida, Georgia. Pretty much close to the coast. Severe thunderstorms are not what we used to experience, right? Thunderstorms are very different today. Baseball size hail, straight line winds, high winds, hurricane winds, and flash flooding, tornadic activity. You just have to see what they decide to give you. Yeah, that was a very sharp triangle. Not Mother Nature at all. Failed to put me on your home page again. Well, yeah. I do get a lot of people saying that they never get notifications, and or they are getting unsubscribed, they have to resubscribe. I'm really, it's very hard dealing with the internet here, very hard, because it's not what I'm used to. And I hope that this continues. Hello, Patricia White, Christopher James, James B., Chilex, Nick, hey, Shauna Howard, Loretta, Silent Walk, hi. So we do still have quite a bit of weather. Fires, actually. Let's do it. Whoop. I didn't set this up. I'm sorry. Let's do it. What is this? Evacuations of 1,200 residents. Wildfire north of Los Angeles. Spreads. Wow. Looks like a lot of embers were flying. Grass fires certainly do not burn at this very high temperature, and the white flames usually are, can't quote me on the number, but the temperature is like 2,400 Fahrenheit. No, grass fires do not burn like that. Forest fires don't burn that hot. But that's what we see. Right? Right. Fire near 5 freeway in Gorman threatens buildings, forces evacuations.
Well, that fire is spreading fast. Cars have been destroyed. Buildings are threatened.
And it's hot out there. The Dangerous 5 freeway shut down in both directions right now between Quail Lake and Gorman Post Road. Let's get right to Rachel Menitoff. She's in Gorman.
That fire was fast.
Gorman with more. Rachel?
Rick MB, we're right off the 5 freeway at the Gorman exit. This is most certainly a wind-driven fire. It's burned more than 2,000 acres in the last couple of hours. Thankfully, no structures have been threatened and no injuries to report, but this fire likely started right here behind the McDonald's, on the hillside behind this McDonald's over here. It hopped over to an auto repair shop where it destroyed almost all of the cars you see over here. All of these cars completely charred, and now what's happening is the fire is moving in a southeast-southwest direction toward Pyramid Lake. It's kind of hopping from hillside to hillside. I do want to bring in Officer DC Williams from CHP. Thanks so much for joining us. Tell us, any idea how this fire started in the first place?
At this time, we don't know how the fire started, but it did start as a brush fire. We do know that. That did jump the road and went over and unfortunately took out the auto.
A brush fire jumps the road, takes out an awful lot of cars. Have questions just left the heads of Americans? Do they just not question anything anymore? Okie dokie. And rapidly growing Hesperia wildfire prompts evacuations? Not entirely sure. Well, the Gorman, they go off Gorman. Now they're doing the Hesperia fire because the Gorman fire is called the Post fire. So this is another fire.
More breaking news now in Hesperia. A wildfire there surging to over 1,100 acres. It's burning near Highway 173 and Arrowhead Lake Road. Right now, the fire is only 5% contained. And this morning, residents of Lake Arrowhead Equestrian Estates are under an evacuation warning. So far, no injuries have been reported. No structures have been damaged. The cause of the fire is under investigation.
We never get to know the cause of anything anymore. Isn't that interesting? Homeowner denied through My Safe Florida Home Program. Oh, the insurance companies has loopholes to deny people their due for this My Safe Florida Home Program.
Cover story and a heads up from viewers about the state's My Safe Florida Home Program. It will reopen for applications in just a few weeks to give homeowners grants to harden their homes to help lower insurance rates. But recently, one of you reached out to ABC Action News anchor Nadine Yanis saying this program that's highly praised by the state has nuances that homeowners really need to hear.
Well, we got an email here from Steve Fay here in Palm Harbor, and we just finished speaking to him. And when he saw that the state was offering up to $10,000 to harden his home through the My Safe Florida Home Program, he said, that's great. He didn't need a new roof, but he wanted to harden his garage here, the most vulnerable spot. But when he went to go get the $2,000 for this project, he got this letter saying he was denied.
This is the door that was put in. It was done by one of the contractors that the state approved.
Steve Fay spent the last 10 months and $2,500 out of pocket to upgrade his garage door in his Palm Harbor home, under the impression that he'd get nearly $1,700 back in state grant money through the My Safe Florida Home Program for the project.
Like, okay, great. But no, that's not how it worked out.
Instead,
So this was sort of the rejection letter
he was denied.
stating that my insurance company didn't provide me the A1 discount, so I couldn't receive the funds. So I was sort of locked out.
According to the letter, he'd have to prove his insurance would give him a discount. But his insurance would only give the discount if he hardened every opening in his entire house.
And when are you going to get the discount?
After I complete all 15 doors and windows in the house,
And how much money?
$30,000 or more up front to get $1,600 back on a garage door. It just doesn't seem to work.
Steve emailed us after he saw our interview with CFO Jimmy Petronis, where another viewer had the same frustrations.
So this home hardening program seems to have loopholes to keep the insurance companies from giving discounts.
So unless you take care of the whole bubble, windows and doors, you've got a vulnerability spot. If you didn't do the door, that's a vulnerable spot. Okay? So you know, again, you're going to have to put a little more money out of
I was
pocket.
gonna say, people
and-
don't have that money to do it all.
Exactly. So in some cases, you know, it's going to be a business decision for that household.
His response to it's a financial decision, maybe take out a home equity loan.
No. Why go into debt and have to carry that debt for what could be 10 months maybe, and then get your money back?
Everything's a scam in this country. It just seems like everything's a scam, doesn't it? Italy, hell.
A giant 5-inch water and hailstorm literally knocked down Porto Sant'Elpidio. The storm.
Look at the size of this hail. That looks like softball size. That's not funny. Well, no hell's funny. But, well, they're really bringing it on. They're really bringing it on. And considering everything that they have been doing in the atmosphere, you do have to wonder if natural forces are trying to fight back.
Thunder and dark sky at 2 p.m., temperature plummeted. In less than half an hour, it was the end of the world. Water and hail flooded the roads. No neighborhood is spared Corva, Valeriense, Marina Piscina, but above all the center and seaside villages.
Mai visto una roba del genere, guarda.
No injuries were reported, but flooded homes, businesses, wine cellars, tunnels and roads caused widespread distress.
This is so insane, man. This is so flippin' insane. Yeah. China under attack. Devastating tornado. Tornadoes in China? Hello? Is anyone home anywhere? Anywhere on this planet? Anyone home?
Weather events, while short-lived, have caused significant damage and loss of life. The month began with a devastating event on June 1st. 3 locations in Liaoning province, Fuxin, Faku, and Kaiyuan, were struck by tornadoes. Faku experienced the strongest winds, reaching speeds of 32 meters per second. Tragically, this resulted in 4 fatalities and injuries to over 190 people. Damage included ripped-off roofs and overturned vehicles. captured the immense funnel cloud reaching high into the sky. Tornadoes.
They can bring anything, anywhere, when they have the technology and when man uses it. And man has been using it an awful lot. I'm going to play this even if you saw it on my Never Lose Truth channel, because this is happening all across the country. And Americans, you really need to feel something. You need to kind of do something, maybe, you know, to protect yourself, protect your children, protect your grandchildren, maybe.
Rachel was not his first victim. And it's my understanding that this suspect, this monster, fled to the United States illegally after committing the brutal murder of a young woman in El Salvador a month early in January of 2023. Once in our country, and likely emboldened by his anonymity, he brutally attacked a 9-year-old girl and her mother during a home invasion in March of 2023 in Los Angeles. And as everyone I believe is aware, that was our first DNA match linking Rachel's case to the Los Angeles case. It has been a fear of mine that once we identified this suspect, the result would be exactly this. And I want to now direct these comments to 1600 Pennsylvania Avenue and to every member in both chambers of Congress. We are 1,800 miles away here in Harford County. We are 1,800 miles away from the southern border, and the American citizens are not safe because of failed immigration policies. This is the second time in just 2 years that an innocent Harford County woman has lost her life to a criminal in our country illegally.
They're not failed policies. They're successful policies. Yes, Americans, just try to imagine that we have deliberate destruction going on. Just consider it. Consider it. Yeah, those people in Congress, those people in your local government, your state government, they're not good people. No. We have very few good people in this country. Very few. A whole lot operate via money. And they'll do whatever they're ordered to do. No, the police, the military are not the only order followers in our country. We've got a lot of them following the orders. But with this border that is opening, still open, yeah, Biden's executive order has done nothing. You're being lied to. All you have to do is check out the United Nations Compact for Migration. And you'll understand that, wow, this is a deliberate policy. But when they're not vetting people, and this guy from El Salvador sounds like he's MS-13, we've got an awful lot of gangs, organized gangs, from all over, many, many different countries, Chile, and I don't want to say a country if I'm mistaken, but a whole lot of organized gangs in our country. They come, they steal, they rob people. We've got a lot of very violent gangs in our country. And most coming across the border, some put it as high as 30 million in Biden's term, but I don't think it's 30 million in Biden's term, but it could be. Doesn't matter, 10 million, 30 million. Military-aged men. So they have left their countries, leaving their mothers behind, and their sisters behind, and their aunts and their daughters, their wives, to come across the border because they're seeking the American dream. Might you consider that what is happening is deliberate, and it's making you very vulnerable to a whole lot of violence. I don't know. Just have an open mind. Yeah. Just because somebody is looking kind of like you and wearing a suit and has a position of power does not mean they're good people. Republicans, Democrats have allowed this to occur. The border crisis has been going on for decades. Somehow they just can't seem to solve it. They can't come to any kind of bipartisan agreement. The Democrats blame the Republicans. The Republicans blame the Democrats. Aren't you sick of it? All they have to do is enforce immigration law. Get it? All they have to do is enforce immigration law. Okay. You get to the point where you think, what's the point? You're like, you see all of this going on, and Americans are like, just give me my football game. Just give me my fun. Let me just have a good time. I'm so tired of it. God.
Let me repeat that. 1,800 miles from the southern border, and this is the second woman in our county to be killed by an illegal alien. Suspects, in both cases, they are suspects from El Salvador with ties to criminal gangs. Should not be happening. Victor Hernandez did not come here to make a better life for himself or for his family. He came here to escape the crime he committed in El Salvador. He came here and murdered Rachel, and God willing, no one else. But that should have never been allowed to happen.
But it is happening. It is happening. Breaking, numerous law enforcement along with SWAT has surrounded a mobile home where the shooter's suspect is believed to be located after shooting up 9 to 10 people, including children. Rochester Hills, Michigan.
Over here? I think I over here?
Well, you know, the bare ass park. Well, it's not.
Okay.
That's the one it is, right? Right there by Metro PC.
Oh, that's sniper.
Oh.
Yep, sniper rifle.
Of course, Daddy knows everything.
They're gonna cap this dude.
Daddy knows all the weaponry.
That's not gonna come out.
Yeah, they're gonna cap.
Life in America. It certainly has taken a turn. Mass shooting at Rochester Hills. This is so I guess the mass shooter ran into a mobile home.
Innocent people and children and, you know. Nick, all of this unfolding a day before Father's Day.
Yeah, and that's on the minds of a lot of people here in this Rochester Hills community and in Oakland County. You can see the scene here right behind me, and we'll talk more, including the latest about what has happened here as far as what the sheriff believes potentially could have prevented this tragedy. Now, something that we should talk about right off the bat is just kind of getting you brought back up to speed on what has happened here in Rochester Hills. I want to get to the latest on not only the nuts and bolts, Priya, but also how this community is trying to deal with this. Because remember, this is the same county where you had Oxford, you had this situation in Lake Orion, and the first responders here going to Michigan State University during that shooting as well. A lot of heavy hearts this morning, Priya.
There just seems to be no place to just chill out, relax, and have fun with your family. New safety measures in Long Beach. This is in New York, after chaotic gathering ends in shooting.
South Shore of Long Island, forcing authorities to change their tactics to keep beachgoers safe.
So this stems from a large party of teens that ended with someone getting shot. Fox 8 Jody Goldberg joins us live from Long Beach after talking to police. Jody, what did they have to say?
Stephen, Natasha, good evening to you. Changes are already in the works, and officials want residents and visitors to know if you plan to come to Long Beach to cause chaos, there will be consequences. It went from calm to chaotic quickly.
A lot of people were running everywhere, so we ran with them.
By 5, it was mayhem.
More than 2,000 students from neighboring school districts swarmed the city of Long Beach on Thursday afternoon after an invite went out on social media for Senior Skip Day.
There was cops here in the beginning, only 5 though, and they're saying it's not enough to stop whatever's going to go on.
I've never seen that large of a crowd here in all my years of being here.
As police tried to control the crowd, shots were fired near and then inside the train station, and a 16-year-old was hit and is expected to survive. Officials say a 15-year-old now faces charges, including attempted assault and criminal possession of a weapon. Investigators are still reviewing surveillance to figure out who fired the shot that hit the teen and who else may be responsible.
We just heard a bang. People started running.
It's scary. I had to walk home. I didn't have my car, and I actually ran.
When it was all happening, it was bad. It was bad.
Less than 24 hours after it all, Long Beach officials announced new rules effective immediately.
I am declaring everyone to have beach passes immediately to access the beach.
The beach will be closed from dusk until dawn, but police have the power to shut it down at any time. Unpermitted gatherings for groups over 100 people is illegal, and if caught, event organizers will be held accountable.
We'll be utilizing all the city resources to make sure that we are effectively changing the atmosphere at the boardwalk.
People are afraid.
You know, if this happens again, there's no way to stop these crowds that are descending upon parks and beaches, and it's chaos. Oh, don't they want chaos? Oh, yes, they do. And I do have to wonder if, it was, I guess, Senior Skip Day or whatever, I don't know. So put it out on social media, and then you get an awful lot of kids coming to one particular location. Unfortunately, it just never works out very well. It's chaos. Shooting at pop-up party in Methuen leaves 7 people wounded, 2 critically. What the hell? Massachusetts.
Well, as you mentioned, this all happened around 2 a.m. this morning. Police say a pop-up party billed as a car meetup was organized on social media, and it brought hundreds of people to this industrial park area along Lindbergh Avenue in Methuen. I want to show you what's left over from that meetup. If you look closely, you can actually see car track marks on the driveway here in the shape of a circle, clearly from drivers doing donuts. Now, these parties are known to local law enforcement. The DA's office does keep tabs on them and says they're usually full of drinking and dancing and dangerous driving. But this one took a significant turn when the DA's office says 8 people were injured. 7 of those people were shot, and 2 of them are now in critical condition. Now, this section of Methuen that we're in now is about a block away from a very family-oriented neighborhood. We even saw a kid's birthday party happening today. Neighbors are concerned social media led to a shooting that could have been even worse.
It's worse. Oh my God. Look, 2 killed, several hurt during Juneteenth celebration in Round Rock, Texas.
Information is coming out of Central Texas this afternoon after a deadly shooting during a Juneteenth celebration in Round Rock, which is just about north of Austin. So 2 people we know are dead after police responded to a fight between 2 different groups of people in a city park last night. And even more people were hurt, but police have not shared the exact number with us. Police say the victim.
This is getting out of hand. Massive group of robbers ransacks a Silicon Valley jewelry store, California. That's pretty well cleaned out. These are the organized gangs. And my hunch, all of these people are paid quite a nice fee to ransack stores like this. And they hand over the jewelry to their supervisors in the organization. They're criminal supervisors. An illegal from Honduras, Jose Francisco Martinez. Illegal from Honduras. He was just arrested in Texas for first-degree murder of a 23-year-old man. All right. Doing nothing gets you chaos and violence and killing and robbing, and here we are. Global Migrant Crisis Explained. I haven't heard this, so we're going to listen to it together. Neil Oliver, explained by Neil Oliver. Now, of course, I know that you guys know, but I'm just hoping that somebody stumbles across alive and perhaps, maybe I should listen to this, goes off in their head. I don't know.
I've noticed a lot of similarities, not just what's happening in the United States, but what's happening across the pond in the UK as well. I think it's happened in France. So there's an open border here in the United States. Everyone pretty much acknowledges now. Not only is there an open border, but we've covered stories where the administration, Joe Biden's administration, is flying in plane full of illegal immigrants, and they call them undocumented. And then they will go to these cities and they'll give them credit cards for $1,000 a month to go live. Whereas we have homeless people under every bridge in every major city in this country, and they won't take care of them, but they can't wait to get the country flooded with immigrants. And a lot of people have a lot of different ideas on why that's happening, but it's definitely happening, and it's definitely a policy. And one for sure reason is to suppress the wages of workers. There's no doubt that that's another reason in the United States is because people aren't joining the military anymore, and so they're promising them citizenship if they join the military. So that's too. That, by the way, that's the way Rome fell. But so is it similar in the UK? Is there's this flood of immigrants and people don't know why?
It's on a different scale and it's happening in a different way. I mean, the fact that you've got, the Darien Gap shortly won't be a gap anymore. They're building a bridge there to complete the connection from Southern America through to, the USA and the way in which all the NGOs and the United Nations, and they're all set up to move people en masse from south to north. So clearly there's a deliberate policy of moving people every which way. What's happening in the United Kingdom is that we've got the English Channel that had always been celebrated as a kind of a castle moat that kept out Napoleon and it kept out Hitler and everybody else. And now it's just a free for all. And the little boats come every day when the weather's good, and they're picked up by the Royal National Lifeboat Institution and by Border Patrol, and they're brought into the southern ports, and then they're distributed out into the wider terrain, and they're given help, and they're given money, and they're given accommodation, and they're put up in hotels, and so on and so on. So it's analogous. It's not exactly the same, and also, I mean, the population of Britain has been more altered, I think, in the last 20 years, demographically than is comparable with any other country on earth. It's a massive demographic change has happened. The altering of Britain demographically is not paralleled, I don't think, anywhere else. Pound for pound, it's a smaller country with a smaller population, obviously, than the United States of America. Why that's happening? Because, I mean, if there was any intention to stop that flow of people, you would stop it tomorrow. You just stop it. It would be easily done, because that waterway has been being patrolled by the Navy and by others, for generations, for hundreds of years. And suddenly it's a free-for-all. Suddenly it's impossible. So clearly, the reason that the small boats and the mass migration is happening is because it's supposed to happen. It's not being stopped because no one wants to stop it, or no one with their hands on the levers of power want to stop it. And you've got these farcical things like Rishi Sunak announcing that he's going to fly the odd plane to Rwanda and move people at enormous cost per person to be relocated to Rwanda and all of the rest of it. And no one really thinks for a minute that any of that's actually going to happen. But again, and then you've got to say to yourself, these people that are on the move are also coming from places elsewhere in the world that have been so messed up by the likes of us, by the West, by these policies of the West, of NATO and the rest, destabilizing, bombing the bejesus out of these places until they're rendered into rubble. And then obviously people are on the move. And so there's a lot of anger targeted towards the incomers. And you think, well, fair enough, because people are worried about their communities being utterly changed. They're worried about, the arrival of different heritage, different culture, different religion. You can understand the tensions that ensue. But the people that are arriving are pawns as well. They've had their reality messed up as well, and they're on the move. So, the message that you kind of want to get out there, or the thing you want to get out, is everyone should link elbows left and right with everyone that's standing either side of them, because the problem's above us. It's them up there, that centralizing force that's taking the piss out of us, and punching down on us and everyone, black, white and brown, Muslim, Christian, Jewish, and all of the rest of it. We should all just be setting aside our, the internecine squabbles for 5 minutes and realizing where the real trouble is. And it's because we're being messed with, one and all.
Yeah,
and rather than fighting with one another.
I hope at one point they're going to talk about the United Nations, military-aged men coming in, making them United Nations soldiers. They all have the cell phones. And we've heard migrants say that. I'm going to Detroit and I'm just waiting for my activation. Okay. Yeah, I'll put the link in. You can listen to the remainder. I did about 5 minutes, 5.5 minutes, so it's about 11 minutes long. Pregnant woman stabbed multiple times at San Diego drive-thru ATM. Okay, there's an awful lot of people who think all of this is bullshit, that mainstream media is just staging all of this. No, not happening. It might have happened years ago. Now, when you get how enormously messed in the head a whole lot of Americans are, when you get that we have an awful lot of violent illegal migrants in our country who are very violent, you begin to understand that what you are seeing is actually happening. And I do this in the hopes that you get a big or a bigger picture of what is happening so that you activate your awareness to the point that it's hardwired. Hardwired. Your awareness of your surroundings. You go to an ATM, I hope that you are checking out who's behind you, what's going on, and if you're feeling uncomfortable at all, you leave. You don't take money out, you leave.
Woman, not once, but 3 times while she sat.
Are you kidding? Are you kidding me? I don't have ad blocker. I got rid of ad blocker when I couldn't watch a video at all. And it doesn't matter. Allow YouTube ads. Refresh page.
Woman, not once,
oh, wow,
but 3
worked.
times.
Oh, hey, I think YouTube just wanted to make me seem like I would hit refresh page when that started a couple of months ago, and I would get the same ad blocker and I couldn't see a video. Thank you, YouTube. Finally.
While she sat on this ground and screamed for help.
The money was not taken, right? And so we're here at an ATM, so it's some other type of motivation, but it wasn't for the money.
Nothing taken, just a brutal attack in broad daylight by a complete stranger.
Unfortunately, our female victim, she's never seen this suspect before.
It's honestly horrifying. That's not something we see every day around here. It's usually pretty peaceful. But it's alarming to say the least.
An unusual attack of crime in a usually busy parking lot.
Uncharacteristic right here in this parking lot at this ATM. So I would say it's not a type of series of crimes, and this is why it's so important and why we actually need the public's help.
And
What? And wow. And yes, I always question whether or not electromagnetic frequencies are in play with an awful lot of people that are doing things that, why would anybody walk up to someone at an ATM, stab them 3 times, a pregnant woman? So, the internet has changed, Carol. I see it. What does that mean? What do you see? I mean, in terms of the changes that you are seeing. I'm seeing a change in people in the cyber world, and it's not good. So, gang of cops bully and arrest a 17-year-old girl on a drive home from school, and this is civil rights lawyer, which I have recommended, and I'm going to recommend again, and I'm putting his channel link in the chat. It's right there. And yeah, I mean, we've known that there's an awful lot of the police officers that are so psychopathic, ego-driven, power. Yeah, I got power. Look, I'm wearing that badge. I got power. So I'm going to power over you. Not everyone, but a whole lot. And unfortunately, Americans seem to be, hey, power over. I got the power. You do something I don't like, boom, I use my power over you. I got power, I have a knife in my hand. What? All right, yeah, okay. We're not a very healthy country.
Comment below. This woman, Jennifer Kretschmann, is a Sacramento school district social worker. She was at work. She received a sudden frantic call from her 17-year-old daughter. Her daughter informed the news network and it's driving unmarked cars, pulling people over based on a hunt.
I'm sorry, I thought I had that set up correctly, but apparently I didn't. Okay.
Get out of the car.
I got the car and drive.
Get out of the
I got
Put
the
it
car
in
and drive.
park.
I'm a minor.
Now you're going to jail.
Why would you do that to a 17-year-old? What the fuck are you guys doing?
Hey! You better get your f***ing hands off my daughter.
You're going to go into handcuffs too if you do
Name and
not
badge
back up.
number.
Davis 167, please back up.
The 17-year-old girl was just trying to get home from school, but this gang of cops pulled them over, manhandled the 17-year-old girl, as well as her stepdad, turned their car upside down, ransacked it looking for drugs that didn't exist, and then when they didn't find anything, trumped up charges. This video is yet another video showing cops being allowed to completely run wild, not having to wear uniforms, driving unmarked cars, pulling people over based on a hunch, completely in violation of the Fourth Amendment, and then acting like complete assholes when they're caught on video doing it. This video is from the Real News Network, and it's actually a fantastic video full of interviews, and I will link it in the first pinned comment below. This woman, Jennifer Kretschmann, is a Sacramento school district social worker. She was at work. She received a sudden frantic call from her 17-year-old daughter. Her daughter informed her that there was this black SUV with tinted windows following her and her stepfather as her stepfather drove her home from school.
Jacob started noticing this black SUV with guys in baseball caps. I want to say some had them forward and some had them backward. And he swears he could see the barrel of a gun. And so then she's like, I'm calling mom.
So the stepfather's driving home his 17-year-old stepdaughter from school. There's a black SUV behind them, and now it appears to be pulling them over. But it doesn't look like a police car. They see people with backwards ball caps and possibly a gun. This is Sacramento. There's some concern, maybe it's a carjacking, something else other than police. The 17-year-old calls her mom. The mom says, you're almost to my job. Just pull into my parking lot. And if it's police, no big deal. If it's carjackers, maybe they won't want to do that in a crowded public parking lot. But that's not what ends up happening. The cops basically quickly pull in front of this vehicle, jump out, guns drawn. And this is what happens.
I'm trying to pull into my wife's work right here, man.
Understand?
Hey, officer,
Get out of the car.
I got the car and drive.
Get out of the
I got the
Put
car
it
and
in park.
drive. I got
Get out of the
yes,
car.
sir. I'm coming out. What did I do, man? I'm just trying to come to my wife.
Put your hand behind your back.
I can't. I got a
Put your hand behind your back.
I got a bad back, man.
Don't resist.
Yes, sir. What am I doing? I just wanted to get to my wife's work.
Well, that was stupid.
What?
Turn around and stand up. Is this your wife or your daughter?
She's 17 years old, man.
Well, then stop acting like an idiot.
Dude, I'm coming to my wife's work.
Now you're going to jail.
She's 17 years old, man.
Now you're going to jail.
Why would you do that to a 17-year-old? What the fuck are you guys doing?
You know, there's nothing more that triggers cops than when they think that you have not immediately stopped for their traffic stop. That then turns into a pursuit, which in their mind, that's the reason they work for very little pay, because they think it's an exciting job filled with this power trip, and they get to do these exciting things. Well, really the only exciting thing that they like to do is engage in these pursuits, but at the same time, it triggers them because they perceive this You disrespected my authority. If a pursuit happens, at least in their mind, even if it in reality has not happened, they're going to go ballistic when they catch you. And we saw this the other day in the video I did that's up to however many million views. How similar is this actually? That was the Indiana case of the cop.
Traffic stops just aren't what they used to be, right?
Back up. Davis 167, please back up. Please back up.
That is my daughter. Don't touch me.
Please back up or you're going to go into cuffs too.
Do not touch me.
Let's see what's happening. Do you want me to tell you?
Please do, but I would like to check on my child.
She's fine. Let's go over here.
I just watched her get yanked out. 17, she'll be 18 in December. She goes to the Met.
So listen. They're conducting a traffic stop on the car. The car was not stopping for...
Did you see how many cops were there? Did you see all of the cop cars? Oh my God, a traffic stop? This is how they behave? See, every one of them should be fired and sued up the wazoo. This is just, oh my God. We have put up with being abused by authority for so long that we don't know how to not be abused by the authority figures.
Probably the last 2 miles.
Why?
I don't know.
They have no right to be in my car.
Nothing.
Don't talk to him. What do you need?
Who are you?
I'm the supervisor right now. Who are
Okay,
you?
what's your name and badge
I'm
number?
Johnson Chisholm too. So your car is going to get towed today.
Again?
Your car's going to get towed today, and your daughter and your husband are going to jail. What else do you want to know?
My daughter is 17.
I don't care.
You don't have a right to take
She
her to jail.
resisted arrest, and she's going to go to jail for arrest. I absolutely can.
No, why would you arrest her?
Why would I not? She resisted
She's
arrest.
17. You have to have a reason to arrest
that
her.
your husband
A lawful
and your
reason to arrest her.
daughter just ran from police for the last 7 miles?
not.
They didn't?
Run?
So that the camera wouldn't lie?
What do you mean run?
We have been
I just watched you pull my
conducting
child.
the traffic stop for the last 7 miles.
What?
They did not pull over.
7 miles? Why
Yeah.
did he say 2?
The car was not stopping for probably the last 2 miles.
Why?
I don't know.
I
So
don't know.
get your story
Talk to me.
straight.
I'm the one that pulled her over, so talk to me.
No, you weren't. I watched this dude with the beard pull her out of the car.
Which is in my vehicle. So get your facts straight if you're going to talk about it.
I watched the dude with the beard.
Perfect. He's
okay?
with me.
That's the facts.
Okay,
and
so your
that's what I
daughter
saw.
is going to go to jail.
My daughter's 17. Do not touch her.
17-year-olds can go to jail.
For what?
For resisting.
Resisting what? You had no reason to grab her out of the car.
Okay.
I know my rights
We'll
and I know her
discuss-
rights.
Okay.
We can discuss whatever you want, but you're wrong and you know it.
No, I'm not. So
Yes,
again,
you are, and you
again,
know it.
Again.
Because
again,
this is a complaint
thank you.
against
Thank
you for touching. Who is driving my car?
Your husband.
What is happening right now?
That's getting towed. That's leaving.
My car is why?
Well, if you want to tell me how the law goes, you should already know why.
I don't have any understanding. I only know
You
my
wanna come over
daughter
here
says
and
there's a
address
bunch
us
of cops. In
regards to what
I
we were
watched
doing?
you rip my daughter out
You
of
watched
the car.
me?
I watched the gentleman with the beard, and you know what
Okay.
I'm talking about.
Okay.
But you talking to me this way, you're here to protect and serve. I'm here working. I get a phone call from my daughter.
You should have a
frantic.
good conversation with your husband then.
Okay, I
For
can have
driving
a
the way that you're
conversation.
driving with your daughter in the car. If that's what you're
What
concerned
was he
about.
driving like? I don't even know.
We have literally been trying to
I
pull
just
him over for the last 7 miles. He is not pulling over.
The car was not stopping for probably the last 2 miles.
Why?
I don't know.
It's called a pursuit.
What
He's running
happened
from
with my
officers.
daughter, though?
She resisted getting out of the vehicle. Did you
I
see
don't
guns
care.
pointed at
Why
your
would
vehicle?
you?
Did you see
I
guns pointed at your
couldn't. I
vehicle?
was too far away.
Okay, so you didn't see the whole thing going
No,
down,
but
correct?
my child's out
So
here.
are you showing up late to the game? Can we make that
I want you
clear?
to stop talking to me like I'm
Okay,
an idiot
I'm done
because
with
I'm
you.
not.
This is a perfect representation of how government employees will treat you and your family if allowed to run wild with zero accountability, because government detests you. And the people that like these jobs and want to act that way, they will detest you. They will treat you like garbage, just like this so-called supervisor is treating this woman. He's treating her with disrespect. He's being snarky. He's being rude. He's treating her with disdain. He's lying to her. And he tells her that, okay, this is your car. Haha, I'm going to tow it now, even though you're right here and you could take possession of it. No, to punish you because you have such an awful 17-year-old daughter and fiance/husband, we are going to punish you. We are going to cause you the most trouble that we can cause you. That's what he's doing. And they're not done. Obviously, they're going to charge this girl with resisting arrest when she had committed no crime. She wasn't driving the car. She's 17 years old. All she said was, I'm a minor, I'm a minor. Then they yanked her out of the car. Okay, yeah, she resisted this gang of armed thugs with tattoos all down their arms, with badges. I mean, how many of them are there? Yeah, she resisted them. Of course she resisted them. Give me a break. They're liars. They just yanked her out of the car because they're drama queens. And now they're going to trump up any kind of charges that they can, even if she's 17 years old. And now they're going to search the car because they have to find something in the car to just really stick it to these people.
A bunch of lockboxes. There's one in the back, too.
Narcan. She might have dope on her. You might have had her stuff the dope somewhere. I'll get under that dash on that side real good because you could see that she was moving around, making those furtive movements under her.
Oh, 100%.
You guys want me to? Yeah, that's my car. Yeah.
Are they rulers? Probably not.
Will we stop the trunk? Is there a female coming so we can search her?
They got a bunch of burnt foil and then white powder falling out.
Where?
Right here.
Under the dash, yeah.
No, and out of this. So all that just fell out of here.
That was what was shoved between the seat. Yeah, it's
So
in that
all
envelope.
the dope's in the envelope.
Yeah.
What is it?
And then
Looks like Fetty.
Is it?
Or Coke.
probably.
All right, so both of you go for that too then.
All right, she didn't have nothing on her. I just searched her.
Huh?
I just searched her. She
Okay.
didn't have nothing on her.
He was trying to hide this then.
All right, you know how many gloves in your truck?
In the back.
Oh yeah, it's wrapped up in one of these pieces of paper.
Is that Fetty or Coke, he says. Notice that they are playing for their body cams. They're pretending like they're finding drugs in this vehicle of this girl being driven home from school. Yet they have all these cameras everywhere, and they're trained to document evidence, preserve evidence. And you can't see this mysterious white powder anywhere on their body cams. Why? Because they're liars.
All right, so both of you go for that too then.
All right, she didn't have nothing on her. I just searched her.
Huh?
I just searched her. She
Okay.
didn't have nothing on her.
Looks like Xanax. Here, look under the seat on this side again, under though, because he shoved, this notebook was like hella shoved all the way down.
In there?
On that side, driver's side.
You've already found it over here?
Yeah, I already pulled it out. Looks like it might be Xanax.
Crushed up Xanax?
Yeah. If you look, there's anti-bars in there too. It's wrapped up in that
Inside.
yellow notepad paper. You see anything there?
Is he on status or anything?
Olsen.
They haven't ID'd him yet. Well, what the fuck are they doing?
You get her ID? Somebody moved it on top of this seat. So where did this notepad come from originally?
Stuffed in the side. Driver's side. It was stuffed in between the seat and this center island. Run these two names. Jacob Palkovic.
That's the driver. BJ. What? He's got mail for in his name inside of here. Okay. Put it on my camera.
And foil.
And burnt foils.
Did you open that up? Were they Xanny bars?
They look like Xanny bars.
So after ransacking the car and finding nothing, though pretending and playing for the cameras like they found something, the supervisor, and doesn't he look like a really sweet guy? He says something basically unintelligible to the other officers, and boom, guess what? Body cam goes off.
I'm on. You can finish searching.
So let's recap. 17-year-old girl just wants to get home.
Nothing like traumatizing a 17-year-old, but traumatizing the mother, traumatizing the stepfather. They weren't in pursuit. That wasn't a chase. That was a car that was following them that had blacked out windows and had nothing identifying it as law enforcement. And they didn't know what was going on. We've got some sick motherfuckers in this country. And unfortunately, they protect one another. I just... We can't just keep bending over and taking it. Communities have to come together. Oh yeah, breaking industry insider warns of imminent shortage. The Poplar report. And I'm going to put his channel link in the chat. I recommend the Poplar report to all of you. But let's just listen to a few minutes of what he has to say.
Hello, friends. It looks like we may have an ammunition shortage coming at us soon. Very, very soon. I'm starting to see some pop-ups from some of you guys about emails that you're getting from suppliers. There is a shortage of powder. Basically, powder is nowadays is nitrocellulose. This is basically what gun cotton is. This is powder for ammunition, and it is in short supply. And we're going to go to the root of why this is happening. I got some behind-the-scenes emails to read to you. I got some warnings to you because did you know that we get most of our gunpowder from overseas, and specifically from China? We got a lot to talk about. Let's jump into it. Welcome to the Poplar Report. I'm Steve Poplar. I'm an accountant by trade, and we cover things here that the news media.
Okay, so the link to the video is in the chat. An ammunition shortage. That's not good. Considering everything that I show you on pretty much a nightly basis, that's not good. So I suggest, stocking up. Unfortunately, when the real big shit hits the fan, it's going to be useless. But, and I've said this for years, you need something to protect yourself from other Americans. Forget about protecting yourself from the government, because the government, you're not protecting yourself from government. But from other Americans, absolutely. The illegals, absolutely. All right. Now, I'm going to play a lot of this. Barbara Loe Fisher, I have posted her videos on my channels for many years. And this is wild. What the hell is going on with people? Check it out.
I'm Barbara Loe Fisher, co-founder and president of the nonprofit National Vaccine Information Center. My son was injured by DPT vaccine in 1980. This is a reference commentary that can be read on MVIC.org. It clarifies why MVIC is no longer associated with Dr. Joseph Mercola after his sudden defunding of MVIC in February 2024 became a recent topic of public discussion online that spread false information about the history of that association. There are monuments in Washington, D.C. honoring those who have fallen defending the United States of America in wars fought to preserve freedom. Since the early 1980s, I dreamed of creating a monument honoring the children who had no voice and had no choice and were injured or died from vaccines mandated by doctors waging a 2-century war on microorganisms. That dream came true on March 25, 2023, when I stood with Dr. Joseph Mercola in Cape Coral, Florida, and we unveiled the Truth and Freedom Monument that I designed with my daughter and was built and sponsored by the National Vaccine Information Center. It was a day I will never forget because the event also marked the 40th anniversary of the founding of our charitable organization, an event we had postponed for a year because of the destruction caused by Hurricane Ian in the city. The Truth and Freedom Monument has as its center a silver bronze angel standing on a blue globe holding a baby. The monument features quotes defending autonomy and civil liberties. At the top of one of the marble arches is a quote from the Bible: "The truth will set you free," a phrase also found in contemporary academic settings affirming freedom of thought and the power of knowledge. The angel, which is represented in Judeo-Christian and other major religions, reminds us of our sacred duty to protect our children. The torch held up by the angel's left arm is the light of truth. The child held in the angel's right arm symbolizes the future of humanity. The monument was created during the COVID pandemic declaration, when freedom of speech and other civil liberties were being threatened. It was 3 years in the making, from design to dedication, and I was grateful to Dr. Mercola for the beautiful outdoor space at the Mercola Market in Cape Coral, Florida, on which our monument would stand. As I have done many times over the past 15 years, I thanked him publicly for his generous donor support that helped our small charity, established in 1982 by parents of DPT vaccine-injured children, to forward our mission of preventing vaccine injuries and deaths through public education and defending the ethical principle of informed consent to medical risk-taking, which includes vaccine risk-taking. Between 2008 and November 2023, Dr. Joe Mercola supported the work of the National Vaccine Information Center, a nonprofit educational charity highly rated for transparency and integrity. In 2009, at MVI's 4th International Public Conference on Vaccination, I presented Dr. Mercola with NVIC's Visionary Award. NVIC was a co-founder in 2011 of the Health Liberty Coalition, sponsored by Mercola.com, which included leaders of allied nonprofits dedicated to promoting health freedom and raising awareness about the risks of vaccines and GMOs and mercury amalgams and fluoride in drinking water. In 2019, I received Dr. Mercola's annual Game Changer Award, given to an individual, quote, whose work stands as a great service to humanity. In 2020, at MVIC's 5th International Public Conference on Vaccination, I presented Dr. Mercola with MVIC's Lifetime Achievement Award for, quote, inspiring millions to take control of their health and choose more natural ways to stay healthy. On MVIC's website, Mercola.com was listed as a partner. At conferences and through many co-produced video interviews and published articles, over the years, Dr. Mercola and I educated the public about vaccine risks and failures, and the importance of fighting for the legal right to make voluntary decisions about vaccination. I publicly defended his work, and he publicly defended mine. Last fall, we talked about the unprecedented censorship we both have been subjected to online and in the media. I have admired Dr. Mercola's vision as a doctor empowering people to take control of their health. I considered him to be a friend, as well as a colleague. I was proud to work side by side in a trusted partnership with him and thankful for the generous average $300,000 per year over a span of 15 years he donated through his foundation to MVIC, which we counted on in our annual budget to help our small staff operate 4 websites and implement nationwide vaccine choice advocacy programs and services. Because MVIC is not a for-profit business, our charity relies on donations from families, whose loved ones have been harmed by vaccines, and by those who want to have the right to make vaccine choices without being punished for the choice made, and by small foundations that appreciate the fact that MVIC does not tell anyone what to do, but simply empowers people with accurate, well-referenced information so they can take responsibility for the health choices they make. Exactly 1 year to the day after Dr. Mercola and I dedicated MVIC's Truth and Freedom Monument in Cape Coral, Florida, on March 25, 2024, MVIC received an email from someone identifying herself as the new CEO of Mercola.com, informing us that donations from Dr. Mercola's Natural Health Products Research Foundation were immediately discontinued. After all the years we had worked together, Dr. Mercola did not contact me by phone or email or text to explain why he suddenly chose to defund MVIC without advance warning, which impacted our fiscal year programs and services and left me with no information to give to my board and staff. I was stunned, hurt, and confused. The only verifiable information I had about what had happened were 2 articles published in Natural Products Insider on February 13th and March 1st, 2024, informing readers that the Mercola.com company was under new management and that Dr. Mercola was now being influenced by and taking direction from a person who refers to himself as the Kai and claims to be a psychic channeling the voice of a, quote, ancient and wise, high vibration entity from the causal plane called Balan. That person talks like this.
I'd like to introduce you to Bahlan, a high vibration entity that I have been channeling for decades.
And looks like this.
The choice was entirely mutual, although at the time, the Kai did not necessarily realize it, for the Kai was very busy doing other things, doing work and business and family and so forth. So when we showed up, the recognition was instant. The memory was instant. We have been working with the Kai for all eternity, as you would call it.
Did that person tell Dr. Mercola to walk away from our partnership and his long-standing commitment to MVIC without contacting me to explain why? The media articles published in February and March detailed the fact that this self-identified psychic, who Dr. Mercola is now consulting with, had convinced him that he, Dr. Mercola, is, quote, a god, and, quote, the new Jesus. The articles contained references to videos and descriptions of what had taken place at the Mercola.com company in early February, when Dr. Mercola, without warning, fired top executives, including his own sister, who helped him establish and has worked at his company for 40 years. The harm that has been done to good people is shocking and heartbreaking.
And what the hell is going on? The link is in the chat. You can listen to the remainder. I stopped at 10 minutes. But what the hell is going on? The new Jesus, Dr. Mercola? Is this ego run amok? Is this being taken over by some Kai? That guy? Are you kidding me? What is going on? He fires his own sister? He stops that funding immediately and never even talks to her? What is going on? Oh my God, we've got a lot of people who are truly losing it. You don't know if she was a doctor, a witch doctor maybe? What are you talking about, dude? What are you talking about? It's not only weirdness. I mean, this is the kind of behavior that unfortunately you do see. Not that, somebody tells you you're the new Jesus and, he was threatened by who? Seems like blackmail. How are you coming up with this, guys? How are you? Powerful parties got to Mercola, so that's why he's behaving this way. That, to me, doesn't make sense. I'm not taking you out of context. I'm trying to understand your comment, dude. Who was the witch doctor? What do you... I'm trying to understand what you're talking about. Who was the witch doctor? Don't say, LOL, it's okay. Who? People are really not quite right. And in their not quite rightness are really hurting a lot of people in big ways. No. That Tom Tamata, are you kidding? You gave a kidney to your boss to save his life, and he fired you for taking too long to recover? Are you kidding? You don't have to get so offensive. I was just asking, offended. I was just asking a question. So, wow. Tom Tamata, wow. Yeah. Very insane. Unbelievable. It's almost like you can't even talk to anybody anymore. You I just feel like, I never had a good feeling about Mercola, personally. I think he did good work, but, the few interviews and everything, I always felt like there was a pretense with him, that he wasn't really, his authentic self. I don't know if... But when you see that, I can't... That's ego run amok if he thinks he's Jesus incarnate. Wow. I don't know if he's compromised. I don't know if he just, believes all of the crap that this Kai person is telling him. It's crazy. It's really flippin' crazy. And I feel badly for Barbara Fisher, because she did and does great work. And here, okay, they're secretly giving. I have posted, this is happening in the United States as well. When people go and step on a nail and end up getting a tetanus shot, it's a 3-in-1, but they're not told that. They're getting other vaccines with that tetanus shot. So, and he is saying that people are getting the COVID vaccine with the tetanus in UK and Irish hospitals.
And as I had various ailments, guys, May the 16th, just took a call from a very distressed Irish lady who was very awake from day one and was committed to never having a vaccine. She was in total disagreement with her husband, who was very pro-vax. But they both did their own thing respectfully, and she continued to turn them down. She caught her hand in the door, damaged her finger, went to Frimley Hospital, and was given a tetanus. And she suddenly became very unwell over a course of the following weeks. And as I had various ailments, one point she couldn't walk. Anyway, it transpired she got in touch with the hospital and inquired as to what she was given, and they gave her a 3-in-1 vaccine instead of a tetanus shot, just a tetanus shot. She was vaccinated against her will, and they said that, well, they've learned lessons now, and they'll implement those lessons in their training moving forward. So this is a warning to anyone who goes to hospital who thinks they're having a tetanus. They're fucking vaccinating people with tetanus shots now. So please don't have any NHS injection. And she begged me to pass that on to you all because she's now, her health is ruined.
And I would say, no matter where you are, do not get any kind of injection. Yes, I'm one of those conspiracy theorists. But yeah, all the evidence is in. The evidence was in for years and years and years. And I just want to say that people who disappear from, like, the internet, the big names like Barbara, they haven't disappeared. They're on other platforms. She has 4 websites, so we might not see them come up on YouTube, but that doesn't mean that they have disappeared. It means that a whole lot have ditched YouTube, gone to other platforms, and, you know, and I've said this for years. When all of a sudden all of these social media platforms came out, the Odysseys, what was it before Odyssey? I can't even remember. Rumble, and then you had Telegram and Instagram and all of these, and I said, I think it's really important that we all decide on one platform to start posting instead of everybody just going off into, their own. The thing about YouTube that was great was that people could come to YouTube as just one platform and get all of the information that they were looking for. But now you have people scattered all over the internet, and it's very hard, you don't know where they are, and you think they disappeared. No, they're still active, but this I think that was a major mistake that we all made, that we didn't even organize, to figure out a decent platform to just all of us go to. And here, okay, not going to play very much of this, but the link is in the chat, and oh my God. FDA executive caught on undercover video. Listen to this.
Christopher Cole, he's an FDA executive officer of Countermeasures Initiative. Listen to what he said in this undercover video. Watch this.
Biden wants to inoculate as many people as possible. So you have to get an annual shot.
So this is from back in January of 2022. That's from February of 2022, the first part, and the second one goes to January of 2022. So it's early 2022. This video was making undercover.
Biden wants to inoculate as many people as possible. So you have to get an annual shot. I mean, it hasn't been formally announced yet. So you don't want to rile everyone up. The drug companies, the food companies, the vaccine companies, they pay us hundreds of millions of dollars a year to hire and keep the reviewers to approve their products. If they can get every person required at an annual vaccine, that is a recurring return of money going into their company.
So how do you know it's already getting approved?
Well, they're not going to, just from everything I've heard, they're not going to not approve this.
Meet Christopher Cole, an executive officer at the FDA with over 20 years experience who claims to be directly involved in the approval process of the various COVID vaccines.
I think what's going to happen is it's going to be a gradual thing. Schools are going to mandate it.
Why do they need the third one?
For the same reason that you or I would be the third one. So the three will bolster your system. And then there will be an annual, eventually an annual, just like the flu shot.
For the toddlers?
Well, for everyone.
Okay, so the toddlers too then. We'll have to get it annually. Okay.
I don't completely agree with the process.
What do you mean you don't agree with the process?
Well, I mean, they don't have all the tests aren't there. So I agree with the thing that it is important to inoculate them. But you can't provide the parent as much a surety as you normally want to. It's an EUA for all age groups, all designations, and then you have to get approved by specific age groups based on the study.
Do you think that's really an emergency for the toddlers?
Well, they're all approved under an emergency.
So just so you know, children were never at a risk from COVID. And that's according to, I've showed you that data. They're less at risk from COVID than they were from the flu. And as Bill Gates said, well, it has a low fatality rate. It affects most of the elderly, kind of like the flu, but a bit different. So all that stuff they told you was a lie. Young, healthy people were never at, and they're saying we don't have the tests.
There are so many people who know the truth. And isn't it just painful at this point that still people are refusing, like there's a block in their head that they won't even talk about it. They just can't accept the truth. Isn't that weird? Maybe something is going on. Maybe there's electromagnetic frequencies that are raging that we see on radar have really affected people to the point where they're gone. They're walking dead people now. It is just unbelievably sad. So, I don't know if any of you saw my NextGuard video that I posted earlier. NexGard for dogs and cats. Safe and effective? Not so much. So if you haven't seen it, I will link below to this article. I know that many of you have dogs, and you might be giving them tick and flea prevention. Well, unfortunately, none of it. None of it. I used raw garlic and I put it in the dog food that I gave my dogs. Raw garlic. And I never had any major problem with ticks or fleas. Never. And I lived in New England, you know, where ticks were very widespread and a whole lot of them. I would chop up the garlic, I would put it in their food, and they ate it and they were fine. A whole lot of people use different natural I think rosemary is oils. They use essential oils. All right, so if you're giving NexGard and nothing has happened, let's say you've been giving your dog or cat NexGard, nothing has happened, it doesn't mean the next time you give NexGard to your pet that nothing will happen. Something could happen. And there's a lot going on with NexGard. So it's the pesticide that they claim only attacks the ticks and the fleas and the insects, and claim that it's selective toxicity. How do you get selective toxicity? There apparently are reports of an awful lot of adverse effects that people have been experiencing: dogs dying, seizures, ataxia, tremors after taking NexGard. And it's a gamble. One dog owner compared it to playing Russian roulette. Did I get that link in? Oh yes, I did. Well, I'll put it in again. But I did post a video on Never Lose Truth, reading a Facebook post of a man who, experienced, giving NexGard to his dog, and then the next day the dog couldn't even stand up. So I don't know if there's anything, that's not toxic in our country at this point. But I thought it was interesting that they actually said something about, let's see, also the products, Bravecto, Bravecto Plus, Credelio, Simparica, Simparica Trio, Revolution Plus. Yeah, here. One would assume that a product put on the market with the intent to protect dogs would never harm them. Can anybody actually say that today? No. No. The FDA approves a whole lot of products that kill people, that give them strokes, seizures. Learning the hard way is not fun. That's why it's very important to educate people. Circulate, circulate, circulate. I'm sure a lot of you know a lot of dog owners. So, it's heartbreaking. Oh, you did? Okay, good, Michael. You left a link for an organic flea powder. Yeah, and all of the vaccines now that vets push, the only vaccine that, and I was actually the dog officer in Northampton, Massachusetts, was, let's just say, a real prick. Brought me to court when I was an attorney, and the judge threw it out. The dog officer, because I didn't have the rabies certificate. I was late or something, and she wanted to throw the book at me. I knew the judge, and the judge said, well, I think because Miss Clark does not have any priors, I think I'll dismiss this. But that was the only vaccine. Now they're pushing everything on these dogs, and a whole lot, and cats, but a whole lot of people are doing it. So now, remember baby boomers? Remember? Pets never came down with all of the diseases that humans had. Never. They were always healthy. Always. Times have changed. So now, you know, a whole lot are dying from cancers, a whole lot. Electromagnetic frequencies are giving dogs seizures. God, it's so... Well, when you have a population and so many people are on different pages, then a whole lot of people are on different chapters. How do you get people on the same page? Especially when people just don't want, they don't care to even know the truth. So, we do have to pass along and circulate information that is very important. Circulate that article. It could save a dog or a cat's life. So, thank you all for showing up. Much appreciated. And live honestly, speak honestly. It's the only way. That's the only solution to this madness. That's it. So, be very aware of your surroundings. Be safe out there. And thank you for showing up, of course, and I hope to see you tomorrow night. Good night and good luck. Ciao, guys.